Hey everyone, Emeka here from my self-publishing blueprint.com, and I got a very special interview coming up here with Karla Marie. Karla has been a self-publishing publisher with Kindle Publishing for a number of years and has quickly grown to one of the top Kindle publishers in the industry today. I had a chance to sit down with Karla for about 45 minutes and just pick her brain, and she gave us some of the best information out there you're going to have a chance to receive from Karla and find out exactly what she's done to build her six-figure a year business. We did have some slight audio issues, so please bear with us. I've done my best to clean it up, but I would suggest that you hit the little CC button on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube video rather, and just turn on your closed captions. Anything that you need clarification on, if there's a section you can't hear or anything, just timestamp it in the comments and let us know, and I will do my best to make sure we can get that cleared up for you. Enjoy this interview. It's a good one. Hey everyone, Emeka here from my self-publishing blueprint.com and Ossai.com, and I got a very special guest that I'm excited to bring to the channel for the first time. This is Karla from Karla Marie Publishing, and Karla is one of the top dogs in the publishing world, and to kind of sit down with her and ask her some questions about her story and some of the lessons that she's gone through the course of how long have we now?
I started publishing in October 2013. I started off with nonfiction, and then I moved into doing romance fiction in April of 2014. So I've been really focused on romance for over 3 years now.
Nice. And why don't you kind of walk us through a bit of your story? How did you find Kindle publishing? Why did you start publishing?
Sure. A few years ago, I was at a point in my life where I had my own business. I was a yoga teacher, but I was working times, teaching between 20 and 25 classes a week. Burnt out, broke, in tons of debt, and just knew that that wasn't where I was supposed to be, that I wanted to have that freedom to just live more location independently, to not have to worry about like going out for dinner with my family or like having different experiences. I'm really into I'm not really into stuff, I'm into experiences. So I just wanted to experience life more fully. And I felt that as like a deep desire for me. And I felt like the reality I was in then, being like really in debt and all that, that wasn't who I was. I was not in alignment with who I was when I was in that space. So I started to, and I knew that a job or even like having my own business as an owner-operator was not going to be the path that would take me to financial freedom. And I knew I had to get into passive income. So I started to do a little research, Googled how do I make passive income, that kind of thing. And then one of the things that came up was ebook publishing. And I was like, this is interesting. So I started to kind of like explore that a little bit. And I was really intrigued by it. And I took a basic like intro course for ebook publishing. And as soon as I got the course, I was like, I just knew, I'm like, okay, this is like a real opportunity. Like, this is something that I can do. And so I started learning, started doing some little nonfiction, just kind of like testing out the waters. And I saw that it works. You can publish books and you make royalties, and it's an amazing thing where you can make money online. It was like truly like transformational for me. Even like getting that first $2, as like you probably remember the first money you got online. I know a lot of people say that, the first dollar you make online, you'll never. But it's so true. So you're like, oh my God, I saw the process that got me from like not having money online into making $1, and from that idea, I can expand it and I can make 100 and then 200 and then thousands, right? So that was really cool. And nonfiction, it didn't really resonate with me. It wasn't very fulfilling for me. I started to research what the most lucrative markets were in for Kindle, in the Amazon store, and fiction was huge, and romance especially was really huge. And so I started experimenting with that, and just started testing stuff out, started throwing stuff up there, seeing things were selling, and just like from there developed a process that took me from earning. I remember in July 2014, I had like 6 romance books published, a handful of nonfiction books that weren't really making any money more because I wasn't even paying attention to them. And I was making like $900 a month. I'm like, okay, this is good. But I knew, I'm like, oh, if I take action and really expand this can be absolutely huge. So I went from, in July of 2014, making $900 that month to December of 2014, making over $10,000 that month. So within half a year, I got to 5 figures, which was yeah. And then life changed. So, and it has changed ever since. So.
That's awesome. Let's talk about that. You said your main thing is experiences over everything. So how has publishing over the last few years just changed or given you some amazing experiences with your family?
Sure. I travel a lot now. I love traveling. I feel like I have several different places that are home to me. I live in Saskatchewan, Canada, which is like in the middle of the country, like in the prairies right now. But my family lives everywhere, and I used to live on the West Coast, and I love Vancouver, and I love the Sunshine Coast and the island, which is where my dad lives. So I get to come out here on a monthly basis, and that to me is like paradise. But I get to come and do this without worrying, like this is something that I almost have a couple of different places that are home to me that I feel like nourished by, that I can go and spend time in. So that's really amazing. I travel with my family too. I've gone with my son all over the place. We've been to Mexico a few times. Take my son with my partner to Europe. Traveled to New York for my birthday last year. It's been pretty amazing to have that freedom, and just to know that wherever I go, as long as I have my computer, I have my workspace, and just to have something too where it's like, oh, if I feel like not doing too much today, I don't have to. Like I control when I work, how I work, where I work. When I work, did I already say that? It's been totally amazing, and it feels almost like it's exactly what I wanted and exactly what I envisioned a few years ago as for like the feeling of it, and it feels like it's something that I created, that I brought into reality, and I've had the opportunity to help a lot of other people do the same. So it's been pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How big can you build your Kindle? I work with most people that are getting that I'm working with. They're brand new to it. I'm really focused on helping them make their first. But I don't think anybody wants to see how big can you build a business?
Honestly, the sky's the limit. It requires some, of course, strategy and planning, and lots of really developing a solid process. But I have clients who are making multiple 5 figures. So it really is like the sky is the limit with it. Of course, there's even more who are like able to quit the jobs and work on this as their full-time occupation, which is amazing. So it's the opportunity is huge, and it's something that is accessible, which is like amazing. Because a lot of online business needs to either have like techno-power or whatever, but with ebook publishing, the barrier to entry is quite low when it comes to that kind of thing, like technical knowledge and everything. So.
Were you very technical? Is it tech savvy or anything when you first started? Did you?
Not in the slightest. I'm still not. I'm still like, I still sometimes struggle with like expanding to different technologies, but definitely not. I'm not tech savvy at all. And I didn't have any issues with getting into this business and succeeding, so most other people won't either. And I mean, my dad and my stepbrother both publish, and if they can publish and they're in their early 70s, anyone can.
That is so true. That is so true. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you tried nonfiction, but for whatever reason, it wasn't really kind of diving with you, and you decided to kind of go more into the fiction route.
Yeah.
Let's talk about can you only be profitable with fiction? Can you only be profitable with nonfiction? What's your take on that?
No, both can be profitable. It comes down to having an audience, seeing what that audience wants, whether it be entertainment value or solving a problem for them, and providing that solution or that entertainment or whatever for them. So it can be profitable in fiction or nonfiction, and I've seen people do both very, very well. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And your royalties, I guess, they're mostly with the pages read, opposed to
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in romance, readers they consume a lot, really voracious readers, and so Kindle Unlimited. So having your books in the KDP Select program, which allows them to be both Kindle Unlimited, means that as the publisher, I get paid by the page read. So as readers are reading the book, I'm getting paid. And romance readers read so much that is it's a really lucrative opportunity for especially romance. I think fiction more than nonfiction. You may be able to comment on that since you're primarily in nonfiction. Yeah, I really recommend it for people who are getting into fiction publishing, and especially romance. Like Kindle, KDP Select, being in the Kindle Limited program is very lucrative.
Yeah, I have all my books in the KDP Select program, but I'd say 80% of my royalties are coming from trade space, or coming from the paperback.
Oh, exactly. Yes, yes.
My ebook sales, they've been steadily increasing, but they're nowhere near what my actual paperback sales are.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. They have nonfiction paperback is huge, and like with me, I don't really sell in trade space. Like all of my royalties are from the Kindle store, ebooks.
Right. Talk about tips for beginners. So what were some of them, looking back when you first started a number of years ago? What were some of the mistakes you made, if you don't mind telling those, so others don't make the same mistakes? What are the things that beginners should really focus on to shorten the learning curve?
Okay, sure. One thing that I see, and I'm trying to think back if this is something that I went through and experienced. I'm not sure if I did, but something I'm in contact with a lot of beginner publishers now, like through my Facebook group and just like in general. And one of the mistakes I see often made is that people get in looking at the money, just like focusing on the money they make, and not on the fact that the way you make that money is by connecting with people, connecting with readers. And so you need to be providing something that's high quality, something that people want to read. So really get detailed about, and this is for nonfiction, you get really detailed on what your niche research is, what those readers want, what they expect as far as like quality. Use reviews as market research, like look at reviews of other books and see what the positive reviews say, see what the negative reviews say, use it as guidance for what you're doing. Just get really specific with like, who is that reader you're serving? And serve that reader the best you can. So that's one thing, is like to not just look at the like money, like, oh, how am I going to make money? It's like, no, how are you going to serve? How are you going to provide value to those readers so that they get books from you, and then hopefully become loyal readers and continue to buy books from you. So that's huge. Another thing that I definitely did, which a lot of people do too, is they blindly stumble around trying different things, trying different approaches, buying different softwares, just spending money on different books and different niches, and doing all this stuff. Just all over the place, not really knowing what they're doing, when they could find a mentor that has been through what they've been through and has the results, is experiencing the results that they want to experience, and they can learn from someone who's been there and done it, and invest in themselves that way. That is huge. Like that totally is game changing on so many levels. And for one thing, shortens the learning curve. Another thing, it saves you money in the long run, so you're not like just blindly spending money or not knowing how you're going to get that. And it just saves headaches as well. It's frustrating. I understand. It's super frustrating when you're starting something and you suck at it, right? Like it's not fun. And when you don't know, it's like, oh, am I taking the right action? Am I not taking the right action? Should I be doing X? Should I be doing Y? Like, it's not a pleasant place to be. It can be very frustrating. There's no clarity. But if you learn from someone who's been in your shoes and has gone through all that, has found that path to success, that's ideal. Like that almost is priceless in a way, or it's something that is definitely worth investing in. So that's what I would recommend, is getting a mentor. And now, like, I have a mentor. I'm a part of a live mastermind, and I have a mentor that I travel to see every month. Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely game changing and really impactful.
So you pay for the mentorship and you travel.
Yep.
You're paying for as well.
Yep.
This is not something that's cheap. This is the investment.
It's a huge investment, and it's like, and for me too, energetically, it's like that's what I'm taking this money, which is a form of energy, taking my attention, my time, putting it towards something where it's like, this is what I want to grow into. This is how I want to change my life. This is what I want. Like it's being very conscious and very intentional about what I want to create. That has so much power. So finding a mentor is great, and someone that resonates with you or that you resonate with, and someone that is experiencing or has experienced or has created what you want to create. So, because success leaves clues, right? And it's like, if someone else has done it and they have the blueprint of how to do something, learn from that person. Like it's really valuable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Email lists. This has been the hot topic in the last few months. That's one thing that I've made from the get-go is with my self-publishing blueprint is making sure that publishers, that my students are collecting emails right away. How important are emails to your business, and what do you do with the emails once you've collected them?
Okay, so yes, I also emphasize that as the number one priority is creating a mailing list of readers, especially in something like business where readers, they don't just want to read one like billionaire romance novel. They are into that kind of book. They will want to read more and more and more and more. So getting people onto a list is absolutely number one priority. And there's such an opportunity now to grow your list bigger, faster with like online, right? Like the connections you can make to different platforms, and it's really, really amazing. So yeah, that's number one. That's like number one priority. And so as soon as you have a list of readers, whether it be in nonfiction or fiction, you have to start establishing a relationship with that list, start engaging them with them, start adding value, communicating with them regularly, and remember, it's like going back to that thing of like not seeing dollar signs. And these are people you're communicating with. So talk to them like people, like engage them in use a tone that's authentic and that's real, and that really connect them on. So yeah, so start building that relationship, and don't always just go immediately for the sale. Like don't be like, oh, you have to buy this. No, you have to give people value, and especially in nonfiction, nonfiction, you have to establish your authority, right? So, yeah, it's crucial. Mailing list is like, I could go on and on about how important that is for success in what I've seen with my students, especially the people who are like earning really, really high monthly royalties have really built up their list, and they really leverage the list well, and they're masters at that.
What now? I know this discussion has come up a few times. I assume your books are probably being written under a pen name. How do you use, or how do you communicate with your readers if you're using a pen name? Is it any different than using your real name?
No. I think you just find out what your readers want. Find out what a good way to do that is like do a little niche research and see how other best-selling authors communicate with their readers. Sign up for some mailing lists. See what other authors are doing. But yeah, put some of yourself into there. You know, showing that you are caring about the reader, about giving them the value they want. You know, like I see that some people they're just not used to putting themselves out there in a way that they're like, you know, creating that relationship and doing that kind of thing. And it's like it's another thing that when you start building your mailing list and communicating with your readers, you are not going to be a pro. It might be hard at the beginning. You know, it might be uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the better you get. It's one of those things. It's like you have to just do it.
No, it's absolutely right. With anything, you have to get out there and do it. And,
yes, exactly. Get out of your comfort zone, you know, and just like do things that get you a little uncomfortable. I have a mentor as well, another mentor who's more like a spiritual mentor. And one thing that she said that really resonated with me is like, once impossible, now easy. That's how everything is that you want to achieve. Something at the beginning seems impossible. Over time, it's easy. Once impossible, now easy. Once I would have thought it would be impossible to be living the way I live now and like having the experiences I experience, but now it's easy because it just is. It is what it is. You know, it's just how I live now, and it's just what I do. You know, like, and I mean, I can imagine too, like. You as well, the way you've created Emeka has been awesome in such a short period of time, and like, and at one point you probably would have been like, "How would I do that? Like, it seems impossible, right?" And you do it, and you're like, "Oh, look here are the steps to do it," and I did it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Even think about what we're doing right now. 10, 15 years ago, this literally would have been impossible to do this.
It's mind blowing.
I'm in Mexico. You're in Vancouver. We couldn't have done this. We could have talked on the phone, but you know, even that had its restrictions.
Yeah.
So
no, this is straight up like Jetsons. This is like the Jetsons reality right now.
We watch, as kids, we watched them do stuff. We're like, oh, that's so cool.
And it's so funny.
And boom, here we are.
I know, it's funny. As soon as you start talking about technology, the internet started getting all glitchy and you froze. But I think it's okay now.
But once impossible, now easy. I really like that. That's
yes.
Yeah, I gotta put that up on my wall, on my dream wall.
Awesome.
That is just so true.
It's powerful, right? Like.
I remember when I was a new publisher and only making like, $30, $40 a month, and looking at people making $1,000, watching your interviews, and $10,000 or $20,000 a month, thinking, how do I do that? It's just, but it's you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep learning, you find somebody to mentor with, you just. Keep getting all the information you can, but you keep taking action, and then you slowly get there. And
for sure.
Yeah.
And also, what's really important is to take that action from a place of being open and believing in the possibility of it. That's another thing. So this is getting back to like what holds beginners back. Are their own doubts and limiting beliefs, and that's huge. So you can start aligning yourself right now, like in the present moment, with the result you want to create, you want to experience. Writing things down, like get into journaling, starting to like bring that future reality into your present moment. That is hugely, hugely powerful. And I teach that a lot too through my programs. Is getting into that sort of the mindset, because honestly, that is 80% at least. 80% is a low, I think. When people talk the 80-20 principle, in the realm of mindset, I'd say it's more 95% mindset, 5% mechanics. So,
what would be the proper mindset for new publishers? And like, let's be honest, because people getting into publishing are usually looking for extra. I was looking as a way to make more money. I needed that. So
yes,
speaking from experience, when you need money, your mindset and hearing people talk about mindset is not what you want to hear about. But what are some strategies you can tell people that would help them?
Okay, so I encourage people to set goals that are change their life in some way. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to make 50 grand a month. It could be like, wow, I'm going to make like at first maybe like for a 3-month period, I'm going to make $1,000 a month. By the end of the next 3 months, I'm going to be making $1,000 a month. And not just looking at it on that like surface level, but looking at why. Why am I wanting to earn that $1,000 a month? How is that going to change my life? And then you can be like, oh, okay, well, that'll allow me to pay for, my car payment and a couple of things with more ease. And then you're like, okay, but why is that important? You're getting down to the point where you're looking at the base emotional level of it and feeling that feeling of whether it be freedom, ease, peace. What does that greater amount of money bring into your life on that feeling vibrational level and connecting with that daily? So that's what I encourage is to set your goals, specific date, look at a time frame where, like I said, maybe I'm not saying this should be your goal, just as an example, like earning $1,000 a month for 3 months. And have that goal be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So have it be something where you're like, oh, okay, I like the feeling of that goal. I like the way that it resonates within me, but I don't know the exact path at this moment. I don't know the exact path of how I'm going to get there, and that is the best because that has you employ and use a trust and faith kind of letting go and mindset, and that's key is to like have that element of faith in your goal setting. Yeah,
that's awesome. That is awesome. What about structuring your business? One thing that's not talked about a lot, and it's for various reasons, whether people don't want to give advice that might be, I don't know why people don't talk about how you should probably do your growth. But in terms of staying organized, I had the experience of being an independent contractor. That's what they call it in Canada. I'm not sure what the U.S. term is. But working for yourself, where you have to file your own taxes, you have to track your own expenses, so you can write off expenses. A lot of people don't know how to do that. So what are some tips or strategies that you use that
Sure. I'm one of those people that numbers in that respect, like the accounting side of thing, is like hellish to me. Like the idea of being an accountant is like a prison sentence to me. I couldn't even imagine doing that. So even bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't feel good to me. I don't like spending my time on it. It's not my strength. And so I decided very early on to get an accountant. And I got an accountant when I was only making $500 a month.
Really?
With Kindle. At that point, I went and I'm like, it's funny. I went to the accountant and I'm like, so I have this new business. This is what I'm doing. I'm making $500 a month. But I told him, I'm like, it's going to grow a lot bigger and it's going to go fast. And I told my accountant that.
And what was the reaction?
He was like, okay. Sure it is. But he was just like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, so I need to incorporate. And so I actually incorporated, did I incorporate at that point?
Did you?
No, I didn't incorporate at that point. Or did I? No, I think I don't remember at what point I incorporated. I think I incorporated a couple months after that, but I still wasn't making, I still wasn't even at that 9 people or some point.
Oh, really?
But I decided at that point to incorporate. I think it might have been a little bit hasty, maybe a little early. I don't know. So anyhow, I just went to him and I'm like, yeah, this is what's going on. I have this new business. This is what it is. And I had to kind of like teach him a little bit. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. He's like, oh, he's really good. He's a business advisor and an accountant. And then, yeah, it's interesting now because almost 3 years since I saw him. I guess over 3 years. No, gosh, sorry. Yeah, about 3 years ago was when I first went to see him. And now when I go and see him, he just laughs. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I remember the first time you came in and you told me that you were going to grow this thing. And, and then it expanded so much. And so anyhow, I leave those kind of things up to people who are professionals. My strength is in publishing strategy, automating that publishing strategy, teaching. That is where my specialty is. That's what I want to devote my time and attention to. Everything else I leave up to the professionals. So accountant, I have a really good accountant and a really good lawyer. Those are absolute necessities.
Why a lawyer?
To structure your business, to take care of all of those sorts of aspects. So especially when you have the point where you're incorporating, having a lawyer is absolutely, in my opinion, is absolutely necessary. Just to make sure all your I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Just where you can. I've had a few times where I've had to get some legal advice about business, and to have that person where you can call them up or something, email me like, hey, this is what's going on. Advise me. Writing up contracts, that kind of stuff. That isn't absolutely necessary as when you're studying the publishing, but
right. At some point.
Yeah, exactly.
It does make.
And I remember one of my favorite books is M.J. DeMarco, Millionaire Ossai.
Mm-hmm.
So good, such a good book. One of the things he said is those are the key holder or the gatekeepers of your business. Excuse me. Good lawyer, good accountant, absolutely necessary, and I can attest to that.
That's awesome. And I'm gonna put you on the spot. I know you did an income report a couple months ago. I think you did one on your YouTube channel. Can you give us any idea of what you generate from publishing now? You said 3 years. It's off $500 a month.
Yeah.
Where are you at now, Karla?
So, and I have another YouTube video coming up very shortly. I'm posting, showing my Amazon statements from 2015 and 2016.
Oh, sweet.
And in both of those years, I made a very, very similar amount of money, but both around $105,000 US in 2015, $105,000 US in 2016. Excuse me. One of the cool things and one of the best decisions I made was at the end of 2015, I hired a VA to take over my business.
You had what?
Excuse me, I hired a VA to take over the management of the day-to-days of my business.
Okay.
At the end of 2015. And so at that point, things started to become a lot more automated and passive for me. And so even in letting go of a lot of aspects of my publishing business, and so I removed myself and I had a lot more free time from that part of my business, from the publishing side. In 2016, I made the exact same amount of money as 2015, but I wasn't running the business.
I was going to ask you, how many hours would you say you worked per week on just the publishing part of the business?
When I was in it, when I was doing everything.
What's the comparison?
Yeah, I would say it was probably 20 to 25 hours a week.
And then once you had a VA take it over.
Yeah, I meet her once a week for 15 minutes, and I'll do occasional stuff I think is kind of fun, like niche research, looking at the bestsellers. I probably cumulatively over the whole week will do an hour and a half, 2 hours of that.
So you went from 20 to 25 hours to less than 2 hours a week, and you generated pretty much the exact same amount of money, which is over $100,000 for the year.
Yeah. Yes.
that's a dream for most people. Like that is,
Yes, it is. Yeah,
you know,
it's pretty amazing. And then like I'm so appreciative and grateful that that is what I'm experiencing. Like that's my reality. Um, but it's
well, and
just like hanging out and getting royalty checks is really really great. But for me personally, that was enough. I mean, we've talked about this before the calls. I want to make an impact and
right.
want to ripple out and help people achieve what I've achieved. And
Right.
so that's where I spend my energy and my time now is working with students.
Now, Karla, I want to bring up one thing because it's a pattern. Whenever people talk about income or anything, you always get the trolls, the haters, the comments saying impossible to make that much. I don't believe the numbers. Let's talk to those people. How can we help them?
No, I feel like they are really extreme limiting beliefs, and they don't hate me. They don't hate you. So I'm sure you probably get hater comments sometimes too. They hate the fact that there's something within themselves that is preventing them from getting to where they're at. So I absolutely don't take it personally because it has nothing to do with me.
For me, I've always kind of like I let that inspire me as people doing, making that amount of money. And you know what? I'll be the first to admit. I can't remember who said it, but they said if you're looking at like when you see somebody in a car, you look at them, you're all mad and jealous and all of that. You're never going to make enough money to get that type of whatever lifestyle because you're afflicting negative emotions, negative something with it. And I caught myself doing that the other day when I saw somebody in a drop top BMW Z4 and I was like, look at him just enjoying himself and I was like, oh, that's inspiring. Wait,
Totally.
I caught myself and I got down to work and I'm very happy I caught myself becoming a hater.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's see what I can do to change my situation so I can.
For sure. And see those like when you see people's success like that, see that as evidence of the possibility of that being your reality. It's like if someone else is doing that and experiencing that, there is abundance in this world. It's not limited. There is a lack. Just because someone else has something doesn't mean you can't experience that too. And just like see it as evidence and let it, like you said, let it inspire you to just like go for it and create that. And yeah, just like align yourself with the joy of that, right? It's like, wow, that is like that person is experiencing freedom and joy, and that feels really good. And like feel what that would feel like.
That's awesome. Let me see what other questions I have on here. You talked about having your assistant. When's the right time to find one? Because if you were only spending 20, 25 hours a week, it's not like you were working a full-time job.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't, but I was also already like I had a program where I was teaching people, so that also got me and I was bottlenecking my business.
Were you? Okay.
I was still taking the action that needed to be taken to maintain my business and stuff, but it was I was getting really overwhelmed. But that being said, I think a lot of people make the mistake. This is kind of like a beginner movie mistake that they start out and they're like, I read the 4-hour work week. I don't want to work. I'm going to outsource everything from the beginning, right? So they're like, they don't establish their own process to a place where it's consistently profitable, predictable, they're confident in it. Like they don't get to that place before outsourcing, and that's absolutely necessary. So as we're establishing a process, know it inside out. Know every aspect of it before you start outsourcing tasks. And you can slowly start to outsource tasks that are mastered or that you know the back of your hand, especially if you're really good at it. So you start doing that slowly. But to absolutely give over your entire business, run over your publishing business to somebody, like I did with my VA, you definitely have to know that your process is gonna keep making you money.
What about changes? What type of changes have you seen over the last couple of years with Amazon? Where do you see, like, I know it's impossible to predict Amazon, especially with them just buying Whole Foods. I don't think anyone's that. But like, where do you see the future of publishing as well?
I see it still being dominated by Amazon for a long time to come. You see how they are just growing. And I read a recent statistic that 50% of all money spent in the US is on the .com store, like in Amazon.com. So yeah, all the money spent online in any way, half of that is spent on Amazon. Isn't that incredible? It's mind-blowing. So to have the opportunity to publish in Amazon, where there's that brand recognition, people are trusting in Amazon. That is a good opportunity. But as far as changes over the past couple of years, I've seen so many. There's been ups. I mean, just like any business, there's ups and downs. But in online business, things can change in an instant. You know, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I remember like a few years ago. It was in 2014, I think in like September, October. All of a sudden, one day, it's like I saw my royalties, like daily royalties, get cut back overnight. I'm like, well, what's going on? So I like took a few weeks to figure out. And I figured out what the issue was, and I adjusted my process, and then everything else back. That's happened a few times in the past couple of years, which also really emphasizes how being with a mentor or being in a course or program where you have a community and you have someone, you have groups of people where you can talk around and keep each other updated with things like the crazy shifts and changes that happen in the world. That's absolutely, that's invaluable. Like that is so important. For us, when you're just trying to do this on your own, it's hard. So yeah, there's been changes. One change that I've seen too, of course, is an increase in competition. Because the fact that just more people are publishing, like how long have you been publishing?
It'll be coming up a year in.
And have you noticed even like in your niches the increase in competition?
Yeah, there. No, definitely.
Yeah, but the good news is that increase in competition is also parallel to that is an increase in readers and in opportunity to reach readers. So it's not like, oh, it's going to be flooded, I'm not going to, it's saturated, you can't get in. That's not the case at all. There's so much opportunity still. But definitely have noticed the increase in competition, especially in fiction, in romance. But it's great. But then, like I said, the number of readers has also increased a lot. What other changes or directions? Amazon is just going to continue to grow. And I don't know specifically, people are always trying to like predict, what's the next move going to be? What are they going to do? And can you select? How are they going to pay authors? All this stuff. I just don't want to use too much of my mind space trying to like predict Amazon's next move. Like, what good does that do me in the present operation of my my business or anything? So I just like definitely like aware of shifts that happen, but I don't get consumed or fearful of like, oh my god, what's the next thing I'm gonna do? Is it gonna like shut all the publishers down? A lot of people get into fear mongering, and I refuse to go down that road.
That is that's so true. I noticed that and whatnot. Sometimes people do completely the wrong thing that they have little or zero control on.
Yeah, and you have to, and that's one of the things when you publish with Amazon, it's a massive company. You're letting go of liquidity. They kind of with their algorithms and stuff, they call the shots. But it's kind of thing. Like I said, when you're part of the community and people are working together and working together, how those algorithms work and how shifts in the algorithms are being somewhat adapted to, then it's super valuable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's wrap up, but I want to give you a second to talk about your fiction publishing course, and how can people get information about that if they want to kind of
Sure. So I have a program called Fiction Profits Academy, and I've worked with nearly 200 people in the past 2.5 years now, and it's been a lot of amazing transformations. It's been really wonderful. My passion is teaching. I love teaching people, yeah. So to get in touch with me, I think in the description we have the post link to from my. I have a free cheat sheet. It's a romance niche research cheat sheet where I did the romance niche research for you, and I just straight out give you a bunch of different niches. So that's helpful. So you'll be able to grab that cheat sheet, and also I have a free Facebook community group. So that'd be the best place to come and hang out and learn more about romance publishing and connect with other publishers that are doing the same thing. And you can post questions for me there. That's where I communicate with people who are interested in romance publishing. So that's the best way to get in touch with me. I think we'll be putting that link in the description.
For sure. Awesome. Well, I know you got a flight to get going on.
Yeah, pretty soon, a couple hours.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk to myself and all the followers who are going to be watching. Definitely appreciate that, Karla.
Yeah, thank you, Emeka. Thanks for connecting. This was really fun.